Greetings, design class. This is the second part of our chapter online, chapter 7 online. We will go through about 3 to 4 pages of the chapter, which is equivalent to about 10 slides. And then I want to give you your next assignment, which is called the character of line. First of all, line, as far as contour and gesture, this deals with precision and spontaneity. The two types of drawing is a contour line, and basically a contour line is used to define the outside edge of the form. And you can see the contour line that we have here is the outside edge of the form. Now there are lines inside of it, but for the most part, this is a contour line drawing. Gesture drawing describes the shape is less important than showing the dynamics or action of the pose. And in gesture drawing, it is about action, it is about dynamics, it's about movement. Here are some, this is actually a combination, but you can see the gesture drawings and how dynamic they are. Notice here on the left-hand side, the movement that you have. This is a dynamic drawing. It shows a lot of movement, it shows the objects in movement. And you just don't have to use one or other, you can use them in combination. Now, line weight, I want to go back to the apples here. Line weight is the visual lightness, darkness, or heaviness of a line within a drawing. When we do our character of line, one of your objectives will be to change the line weight. Okay, you might start off on that top column. You're going to be doing a template just like you did before. In that top column, you might be doing a basic line drawing, and then as you develop your designs, as you go down that row, go down that column, the visual weight of the line will change to give it more punch, to give it more action. There are many types of actual lines, which each varying in weight and character. The points of an implied line automatically connect the eye. These are not lines, these are dots, but in combination they create a line. Again, here's an implied line. Even though these points aren't connected, this is going to lead your eye to the dot. This is called a psychic line. Okay, three types of line. An actual line is the line itself. An implied line is a series of points positioned so the eye automatically connects them. And then the psychic line, we just saw that in the previous slide. It's created when there is no real line, but the placement of the objects or direction causes the viewer's eye to follow. This implied line, let's go back to that for a minute. One of the things that I always use as an implied line, an example is a quarter moon. When you see a quarter moon, you don't see the full circle, but you know that it's there, so it's basically an implied line. The direction of line can influence the viewer and create direction. And this example here, the actual lines clearly define the edge of the figures in the garments. The implied line is created between the victim's hand and the fortune teller's left hand. Okay? Along this line, we spy in the shadow the hands of work of relieving the victim of his valuables. And there they are. And these are implied lines. And psychic lines occur when our eyes follow the direction in each figure's looking. Okay? And this is about, there's no line connecting them, but the eyes, and it's just not eyes, but in this case, they're using an example of a psychic line can be used with the eye direction. All right, now here's your next assignment. You're going to be using a template just like we did before. Using the template, which is those gridded squares, explore ways in which the character of straight, curved, and jagged lines can be used to create simple compositions. Okay, and again, you're using your template. That is you'll need to print that out, and it's the one with the boxes. Character may reflect a line's thickness or thinness, a line's direction, and or a line's expression. In our previous assignment, what we did was we changed the line as we went down each row. With this one, what we're going to do and what I want you guys to concentrate on are the thickness and thinness of the line's direction, and the line's expression. Those are going to be in the first 3 columns, straight, curved, and jagged. And in the 4th column, I want you to combine them. Just grab, they can be designs from each one of the rows. You can put them together if you like. I'll show you some examples here in just a minute. Now, please note here at the bottom, although this assignment is similar to the line inventory, there are differences. Consider the illusion of space and the elements of a line's character that include thickness, thinness, direction, and expression. Now, some guidelines for creating the illusion of space. This is a assignment towards the end of the semester we will be doing how to create the illusion of space, but just a little heads up on it. Overlapping lines creates depth. Converging lines, lines that are used in linear perspective, also create the illusion of depth. And what I'm talking about there are lines that converge into a single point. Vertical location, the higher in the picture plane, the farther these lines appear to us. Objects lower in the picture plane are considered closer. So you might want to use a thicker line near the bottom. And size, smaller lines will appear farther away. Okay, here are your materials: your template, pencil, eraser, fine marker or technical pen. And the strategy is to compose as many compositions. The compositions are developed as they go down the column. Try to increase the power of the line or the original composition. Do this in pencil to begin with. Take 2 of the strongest of the designs and develop them into final designs. Very similar to your line inventory, only in this case, you're only going to do 2. Okay, you're only going to do 2 final drawings. You can enlarge or photocopy each design to at least 4x6 cardstock. Again, guys, that you go 5x7. I'm fine with that as well. All right. You're not going to mount this on black paper because, well, you can if you want. Absolutely, you can if you want. Or just photograph it on black paper. Get anything to make it pop out, okay? Craftsmanship counts, I can't stress that enough. Photograph or scan both your template and the final and submit into the character of line assignment folder, which has already been put up and it's ready for acceptance of your designs. Here is an example of the character of line. And notice they did change the thickness and thinness of the lines. They changed the line direction. They created, look at this one right here. Look how they created overlap, created a sense of depth by overlapping one of the lines with another line. Okay, overlap is being used here, very effectively being used here. Converging lines a little bit here, but there's multiple converging lines, so it kind of defeats the purpose a little bit. Smaller lines appear farther away and higher in the picture plane. So right in here we have a good example of that. Very short, thin lines near the higher part of the picture plane, darker and thicker near the bottom. So think about that as well. And here are the final designs. 2 of them were submitted. I'm going to show you them side by side again so you can see in this case this student kind of liked this one. Actually, what this student did was a combination because you have your 3 lines here and then you have your combination here, and that's what this student did here. Okay, now for this line here, for this design here, it appears as if she grabbed a combination of this one and this one because they changed the thinness and thickness of the line. Very strong design here. I wish I could have used a little bit more overlap to create depth, but a very strong design. Okay, now in the event you have questions about this assignment, please email me, get in contact with me. I will even do a screenshot video and go into more detail on this assignment if you need some help. But I'm here if you need me. Just shoot me an email. Okay? All right, guys, have a good evening.